Assalamu alaikum dear students. Hope you will be fine and enjoying good health. Today I am here with the topic Oxford movement and its effect on English literature. It started in the later Victorian period, in which after the expression and impression of the aesthetic movement it came into being, but it was not actually related to the literature. This movement was a movement of high church members and they strive for the Church of England, in which they are talking about the change of the church from Catholic to Protestantism, and now they again wanted the actual position of the church again with the Catholic. So we can say that this is actually the movement which actually started from the Anglo-Catholicism. And we also know that in the Puritan age there was a movement of the Protestant movement that was led by the Oliver Cromwell and also supported by John Milton, and that movement was having the different religious vision, and they were against to the Catholics. Therefore the religious and the political changes were happened at that time, and the impression of that changes were also having in some sectors, or we can say that the religious, from religious point of view, they were again having the two different categories. So we can say that the movement was also known as the Tractarian movement, and it's after its series of publication, the Trade for the Times, that was published in 1833 to 1841. So 1833 is a period of early Victorian, but actually this movement was started in the later Victorian period. Okay, next one, the main objective of this movement will be discussed, in which we can see that to bring the spiritual renewal to the Church of England by reviving the certain Roman Catholic doctrines and rituals in which the Anglicans had dropped during the struggle of the Protestant Reformation. Actually they wanted that the Protestantism will be completely diminished, and they again wanted the church with the same position of the Catholic, and they strive for this one. And having the again we will say that this is religious and the political reasons having the effect on the people also, on the literature also, and all the other circumstances. Who are the founders of this movement? So we can say that the John Henry Newman and the clergyman, and subsequently a convert to Roman Catholicism, they were the founder of this one, and they were the Richard Hurrell Fraud, John Keble, and the Edward Pusey are the different team members, or we can say those who are the supporters of the Oxford movement. So here is the purpose that we have discussed also in the objective also, but now the purpose being that was a religious revival in which they emphasize that the church Catholic heritage in doctrine and the policy and the worship. And in America the movement found the congenial soul among the Episcopalian, already influenced by the high churchmen of the Bishop John Hobart of the New York. So they are saying that according to this movement there were the different changes were started in the different areas in the different countries, and now they also wanted the same position, the same spirit in the field of literature, also in the field of talking about the religious field. Next one is the other name of the Oxford movement, in which they are saying that the Newman and the John Keble and Pusey, their method was a series of publication, and this publication actually was published in 1833 with the name of Tracts, and therefore we can say this is also the Tractarianism. We can say that actually with this publication in 1833 this movement was started, but actually later in the Victorian period they specify their objective and vision, and therefore we can say this is a Oxford movement. Now we will discuss the Walter Pater. Walter Pater was a strong believer of aesthetic movement, but later on he also worked for this the Oxford movement also. Here we can say that the Newman was the major or main leader of performing for the Oxford movement, but he also assist him. But the major role of Walter Pater was can be seen in the aesthetic movement. So we can say that he was an English essayist, literary and art critic, fiction writer, and the great stylist. His works on the Renaissance subjects were popular but controversial in his time. Then we can see the birth, date, and diet, and influence and education. Next, we will discuss about his life, that where he was born, and then the Walter Pater was second son of the Richard Claude Pater, a physician who had moved to London in early 19th century to practice medicine among the poor. And when we can say that the Dr. Pater died while Walter was an infant and the family moved to Anfield, London. Walter attended the Anfield Grammar School and was individually tutored by the headmaster. In 1853, he was sent to the King's School, the Canterbury, where the beauty of the cathedral made an impression that would remain him all his life. He was 14 when his mother, Maria Peter, died in 1854. As a schoolboy, Peter read John Ruskin, Modern Painters, which helped inspire his lifelong attraction to the study of art and gave him a taste to well crafted prose. So, John Ruskin, we also know that he was a prose writer of the early Victorian period, and according to him, he was also inspired. John Ruskin was also inspired by the Turner, who was Italian painter. So, according to his vision, after the work of the John Ruskin, modern painter, we can say that aesthetic movement was also started, and later on, the Oxford movement was also connected. But this movement had not much a great impression on the English literature, because we can say that it was a religious movement. So next one, we will discuss the style of Pater, that he was so much admired for his prose style, and we can say that of his aesthetic ideals, taking great pains and the correcting his work, and then we can say that he shuffled them out and attempting to form a sequence and pattern. There are the two works only mentioned, the Renaissance and the Marius the Epicurean. And with this I am going to end the quotation: the cowards try many times before their death, and the valiant never taste of the death but only once. So this is a quotation by Shakespeare. Thank you from my side. Stay blessed, have a good day. Thank you.